I dearly hope you didn't assume my little difficulty scale was out of 5. We have a long way to go. I could tell you that this is basically an endgame boss. I could tell you that there are at least 2 abilities we have yet to get that would make this way easier, or that 1,250 health is more than double any boss we've faced so far. But suffice to say that we are heavily under-equipped to take on the Soul Tyrant. But I'm gonna try it anyway! This is our first instance of a Dream rematch, basically a heavily bolstered version of a boss we've already faced. Essentially, the Soul Tyrant is the Soul Master, but way faster. He attacks and teleports more frequently, and just about everything is less telegraphed. However, the nature of the attacks remains the same, so the way we dodge them remains pretty similar, just faster. So I won't be going over them in as much detail as I did in the Soul Master's bio, unless there are some differences that change how we have to dodge. With that in mind, the Soul Orb is the same as it was, a homing projectile best dodged by moving underneath it so that it crashes into the ground. The biggest difference here is a direct result of the Soul Tyrant's increased teleport frequency. He will teleport and relocate almost instantly after firing one of these off, so if you haven't hit him by the time he's fired the orb, he's gonna vanish and you're just gonna hit thin air. As such, we're not gonna focus on chasing him down, but instead stay at center stage and only go out of our way to hit him when he appears close enough. Otherwise, we're just gonna focus on dodging the orbs. Get ready for a long haul with this fight. Letting him come to you is key for getting your damage in, but he does not always come to you. The Soul Pinwheel has received the most dramatic change of his attacks, with an upgrade from 4 orbs to 6. The arrangement of these orbs is honestly pretty weird, since they're not evenly spaced. Dodging this attack can feel off. The biggest reason for that is that the safe spots to dodge are completely different depending on which side of the stage he starts at. If he starts on the right, retreat to this point in the stage and jump here. Getting in an upslash is also a good idea here. However, if he starts on the left, retreating to the right side of the stage and trying to dodge the same way is a much tighter window. Instead, advance towards his starting position and clear the jump here. Thankfully, the second half of this attack still maintains its big blind spot at center stage. Make lots of use of this to heal. Trust me, you're gonna need it. The dash is, of course, faster, but honestly that makes it a little simpler than before. Not much else to say here. Jump, nail pogo, carry on. And that brings us to the new and improved Desolate Dive. Apart from an increase in speed giving you less time to react, this attack's shockwaves have gotten a lot taller. They can now only just be cleared by our normal jump. They are thankfully a little shorter than they look, but it's still a super tight jump to make. To make it at all comfortably, you're going to have to jump before the Soul Tyrant has hit the ground. But remember, he can also fake you out. And I'm here to tell you right now that if you just use your jump and your dash, you will not be dodging this attack reliably. Jump before he lands to give yourself the best chance of dodging the shockwaves, and there's almost no way to dodge both him and the shockwaves on the repositioned dive. Stay on the ground long enough that you'll be able to react in time to a fake out, and you might not have enough time to clear the shockwaves if he doesn't do a fake out. So we have to look at other options. Option 1 is the wall jump. Dash on the ground, jump, then dash again in the same direction, and you should reach one of the walls to get a much needed delay from hitting the ground. However, the positioning doesn't always work out here, so for something truly consistent, we're gonna need something else. It's time to learn how to use our newest technique real fast. So here's our crash course. Our own Desolate Dive has 15 frames of windup, and then as soon as we hit this frame, we become invincible to all attacks. This invincibility continues on until this frame. That's nearly a whole second of invincibility to take advantage of. This is extremely useful for avoiding damage from attacks like these, but it does, of course, cost soul. However, as long as we have soul, I recommend dodging this attack like this. Jump up and to the side, then dive. Do not wait to see if he's going to fake out so you can try and react in time. Compared to the 1 or 2 frames of windup our jump or dash has, 15 frames is an age. It has to be planned and considered. So, plan to use the dive regardless of what he does. If he does fake us out, we'll get the added bonus of dealing 20 damage to him, and if he doesn't, we'll still avoid the hit just fine. The Soul Master's second phase is back in full force too. This time, after dealing 900 damage, his second phase accounts for 350 of his health. Like before, he will alternate between only 2 attacks. The new Desolate Deluge is actually not too much faster than the original, but the width of the impact hitbox has dramatically increased. Dodging this while grounded is unreliable at best because of this change. Jumping should give you the space you need, but once again, just be aware that he can fake you out. Just kidding! See, that time I faked you out. Yeah, I was actually surprised to realize while recording footage for this that this is the only way that the Tyrant is actually easier than the Master. He never fakes you out during Desolate Deluge, so take it easy. You don't even need to worry about that. The Soul Storm is going to kill you. That's the reality of the situation, and the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can learn from it. He now summons 7 orbs in a row and at a much greater frequency. Unlike the Soul Master, you don't have the freedom to just wail on him during this attack. Dodging the onslaught of projectiles takes priority. It is not at all uncommon for the orbs to spawn in tricky positions that force you to jump over them before you can lure them down, and that can result in 2 orbs at once pursuing you, perhaps even 3. Once again, it's the Desolate Dive's time to shine. If you find yourself getting overwhelmed, you can use the spell to give yourself a little breathing room, and maybe get in some damage if he's close enough to the ground. So, how do we go about this? Well, with the help of our old friend, Center Stage. Somewhat similar to Hornet, we are never going to pursue him far outside the reaches of the center here. If he teleports in more than a Mothwing dash length away, just don't bother. He'll have already teleported out by the time you reach his position. If you find yourself missing hit after hit, just reset. Head to neutral and get back in sync with him. Here again, because I can't stress it enough, use your Desolate Dive to dodge his Desolate Dive, so long as you have the soul. Unless you've upgraded further, that's going to be our best way. I also want to draw attention to the fact that he can indeed be staggered, but you are never ever going to get a combo chain of 10 with how fast he moves all over the stage. 19 hits is a lot. He has so much HP that you will stagger him a few times over the course of the fight, but unlike the Soul Master, you can't rely on this as a frequent opportunity to heal. Heal during Soul Pinwheel, as much as you can. Finally, I have a new category here in the bio, because this is the first time I can confidently recommend specific charms. I haven't done this before, and I'll only be doing it sparingly, because I don't want to influence people's favorite loadouts too much. The charms give you so much freedom on how to tackle the game's challenges, and I don't want to take that away from people if I can help it. But here I have to recommend either Soul Catcher or Spell Twister. You'll want to use Desolate Dive a lot throughout this fight, and either one of these charms will compensate for the heavy burden that places on your soul meter. Remember that Spell Twister doesn't reduce the cost of healing, so if you find yourself running short on soul wall healing, I'd recommend Soul Catcher slightly more, but it's all down to preference. My only other advice is to come back later. This fight will be made so much easier with every upgrade we find on our journey. But I know we can do this. So I say, we will do this. The Soul Tyrant, and while he is definitely not the hardest boss that we've fought today, he's still got enough tricks up his sleeve that we're going to need to stay on our toes. One last time. Ouch. Statistically, he is no different on this run than he was back when we fought him all the way when he was our very first Dream rematch. But we have so many new toys at our disposal. Having the double jump as well as the Shade Cloak, as well as the Descending Dark, makes his fake out here extremely easy. That's going to be our tactic there. Is as soon as we see him appear above, we are going to dash to the side, jump up, then dash to the other side, and double jump up, essentially forming a zigzag pattern along the ground, making it way easier to contend with. His last phase here has, of course, Soul Storm, but still only 350 health, making it pretty easy to just brute force that one down. But of course, that was just Attuned. We have quite the real fight to go at now. Now sporting a total of 1,850 health, a significant degree to still give us many, many opportunities to mess up and lose our footing. However, having the Soul Pinwheel still gives us a pretty good opportunity to heal, even now that he's doing double damage.
I still recommend taking advantage of that just because he does give you so much time. Now, I am being a little cheeky in getting in these extra hits on his Desolate Dive, but he does give us the opportunity, and as long as you're seeing those orange splashes, you are getting in your damage, and it feels great. For a foe with this much HP, taking things slow is an option, but once we get to the point where we're fighting him on Radiant, patience is going to feel a little bit crushing. The Shade Cloak, of course, gives us an easier way to dodge the Soul Pinwheel than we had before, but doing it the way we're doing it still gives us the opportunity to get in a little bit more damage, and every bit helps an absolute ton against this fight. Now, his second phase here, having 600 health, is rather significant, and I feel like I got a little bit lucky doing it in one phase there, although I did get hit. Take note of that. You'll most likely have to deal with a couple cycles of his attacks there. Now, Radiant. I did pretty well there, so I'm pretty confident. Alright, let's just get hit by the first attack. That's hubris for you. Anyway, Radiant is honestly not too bad. He does move around quite a bit, but we have so many options now and have the extra invincibility from Shade Cloak that, you know what, that was my bad. I should have double jumped, I just kinda didn't. Alright, now if I can get through my sentence here. His first phase isn't too bad. We have more than enough movement options between our double jump and our Shade Cloak dash to deal with just about anything that he throws at us. The biggest issue on Radiant is his second phase. Since he attacks you so much faster, and especially with the access to Soulstorm, you are much more likely to slip up there, and it hurts because he is a long fight with a lot of HP that is difficult to whittle down because of how much he moves around. So, if there's ever a time to play things as carefully as possible, it would be during his second phase. Oh gosh, using your Shade Soul quite a lot is a pretty good way of dealing damage quicker and getting back to that second phase about as fast as you can. In fact, if I do lose this particular attempt, I am going to put on my Overcharm set just so I can have the liberty to throw some more spells at him. Oh gosh. Alright, maybe I should stop trying to get the attacks in there. But I want the soul, man. Ah, my jump. Okay, here we go again. Oh my gosh. Oh man. It takes like 2 minutes to get all the way through his first phase. No! 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 Okay. Last phase. Here we go. This is the last time I'm doing this. I know it is. I know it is. This is the winning one. Right here. The key is on Soulstorm. Use as many Desolate Dives as you can. No! I'm blaming that one on the fact that he was high off the ground. You're off the ground again. I don't know why I did that. I knew it was a bad idea. Don't use Abyss Shriek on the last phase. It can be tempting because he's off the ground and not affected by knockback, but don't do it. Ah! Alright, so for some reason I'm genuinely more consistent at getting in the damage on the Desolate Dives, even though this looks like it should be harder. So you know what I'm thinking I'm going to do? I'm just going to get in my damage there, and then we're going to spend all of Soulstorm just dodging the balls with the help of Desolate Dives, or Descending Darks, gained from Desolate Deluge. You know what? I'm done playing your game. Okay. Should have been doing that the whole time. Good game, Soul Tyrant.
Thanks again for watching Boss Blitz. Next up, let's take a step backwards and talk about the first Dream Warrior you're likely to fight, Zero.